to our podcast series, The Dairy Experience, where we sit down with leading farmers across Australia and New Zealand to hear about their lands, motivation and overall experience in robotic dairy farming. My name's Jason Koenig. I work for Lely as a sales representative. I'll be hosting today's episode of The Dairy Experience, where we speak about barns versus grazing. We are joined today by Mandy Dee and Sara McNeil, two farmers from northern Victoria who'll be telling us about the unique story of farming. So without further ado, I'd like to throw to our guests to introduce themselves. Let's start with Mandy.
Hi, I'm Mandy Dee. Sorry. Hi, I'm Mandy Dee. We're currently at Clydevale Holsteins in Macorna North in northern Victoria.
I didn't get lost getting you today, Mandy.
Didn't you? Well, that's great.
I thought about it.
Yeah, I didn't get your message until you were sitting there.
I'm Sara McNeil, and I reckon it was, 35 minutes for me to get here? So we're closer to the Murray River on the other side.
Yeah.
We've come over to join today. Our podcast.
So Mandy, tell us a bit more about your type of farm, number of cows, dry cows, young stock.
So our farm, Clydevale Holsteins, we currently have 2,700 acres here. We've been here, my husband's family moved up here in 1980 and started the farm with a lot less acreage than we have now. We're a fully registered Holstein herd, currently at the moment we have about 1,240 females on the farm. We've got a housed setup, a barn, compost barn, in which we have 8 robots, and currently at the moment we have inside the barn 455, I think it is, cows that we're milking at the moment, with a maximum of 500 throughout the year. So we've got a lot of young stock and a lot of dry stock on the farm as well.
How long have you had the robots installed?
So we started, milked the first cow here on the 18th of May 2021. So we've just been just over 2 years that we've been milking with the robots.
Yep. All right. Sara, can you tell us a bit about your farm? How many cows, number of cows, dry cows, young stock? How long you've had robots in?
Obviously we live in northern Victoria too. We live at Mile, it's on the Murray River. We have a grazing dairy farm. We have 8 robots. At the moment we are currently milking 540 cows through 8 Lely robots. I've got 7 cows left to calve. I'm pretty wrapped. We've got 25 dry cows, and we've got about 300 young stock running.
Yep.
We live on the McNeil family farm. It's Timothy's 3rd generation dairy farmer. I have lived on a dairy farm since I was 6 years old, and I have made the mistake of marrying a dairy farmer, so I just moved around the corner. So I've lived in Margaret a fair while. We've had robots for exactly a year this August. So we turned our robots on the 4th of August 2022. Yes.
So what did your farm look like before robots?
So July last year, we were milking in a 44 standard rotary. We were purely grazing. Our rotary was 30 years old. It was starting to clang and clank. We were milking probably 370 to 400 cows in the rotary twice a day. So in the morning, we'd start milking at 5:30 in the morning and hope we were done by 9. And then we'd milk again at 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the afternoon. It was a 1-person dairy. We had a cups on system. We had so one person would be on cuts on, we had cut removers, auto teat spray, milk metering, auto drafts, we had everything in our rotary. It was just getting purely too small. Our cows are starting to rub their bums along the bum rail, and they were just, we were always being a small to medium crossbreed herd. But cows just get bigger and bigger as you start AI, you know, we've been AI for years, but it's just evolving there. So, no, they were getting too small, so we had to do something to change, and robots was the key.
And so why did you choose robots?
As I said in another podcast, labour. Obviously, we have young children, they're getting older though, and being committed to milking the cows twice a day for 3 hours, it was conservative time. So we were needing something new. Tim has dreamt about robots since, I think he went to America in the early 2000s and installed them in America, and he's dreamt of them since then.
Yeah.
Tim's dad said that the rotary would be he didn't expect to have a rotary for as long as what we did, because he knew technology is always evolving.
Yeah.
So we had to do something. We would have had to put a bigger rotary in. We would have to go on bigger, or if you want to be more efficient, time effective, so therefore we would have had to have gone bigger. But labour, in the end of the day, being a farm owner, if you can't get someone to milk those cows, it comes down to you, regardless if you've got something on, you know, regardless if it's the kids' birthdays or you miss Christmas lunch, or, you know, because of breakdown, weddings or something. It comes down to you, and that's wonderful. That's what being a farm is all about.
So work-life balance was a big part of decision making too.
Massive,
Yeah.
massive, yeah, definitely. So yeah, no, robots was a go, and yeah, no, we came and visited Mandy and Mark and had a bit of yarn. Yeah, we were just trying to work out how we do it. Obviously, so we were always a low-cost winter grazing farm. That was our key, and we hope to maintain that sort of a system. Just labour reasons, I think. We do like a feed pad situation during, November to April. We do our own silage, but we buy a lot of hay in. But yeah, we do it because we're mainly irrigation. We're happy to irrigate and keep growing pasture out our way. So yeah, what else? So yeah, we're just trying to maintain that, and we're trying to work out a system that would work to maintain that. So we've gone to a 3-way grazing system with our 8 Lely robots.
Very good. Very good. And Mandy, what did your farm look like before robots?
So before the robots, we had a 22 swing over with cup removers. Directly before we moved into the barn, we were milking a similar amount of cows through the robot. So for the couple of years prior to moving into the barn, we were looking to increase numbers. So we were still milking sort of between 450 and 500 through a 22 swing over. It was, in a word, hell. There's 3 of us full time, so myself, my husband Mark and his brother Colin. We were basically the full-time milkers, and it was the 3 of us every milking, morning, night, every day. So yeah, we'd go for the cows about 5. On a good day, we'd be finished the milking side of things sort of around 10 o'clock. Finished all the other jobs, sort of 10:30, 11 o'clock. Then yeah, turn around, go back again. At 3, get the cows in, and yeah, if we got home before 8:30 at night, we were doing really well. So yeah, something really had to change. And for us, yeah, we don't have a lot of trees on our farm. So we've been talking for quite a while about putting some sort of housing system for the cows, especially in the summer, so that we could have somewhere shady for them to be. Generally in the summer, when it got hot, we put the sprinklers on the yard and the cows came in. We actually got to the point we had to split our herd into two separate herds, essentially a drying off herd or a stale herd and a fresh herd, just to utilise the trees that we had. So we were essentially working with two herd system that way. And yeah, our dairy was originally built in about 96, I think they built that, which was,
Okay, yep.
yeah, I was only just new on the scene then. Just started dating Mark when they built that first, or that 22 swing over. So yeah, by the time we were sort of looking at increasing, we needed to do something with the shed. It was held together with baling twine, gaffer tape, and hopes and dreams. So yeah, it was very much fingers crossed and just pray it hold together enough for us to get into the barn. So yeah, there was slight concerns that it wasn't going to make it through, but it did, and it did a really good job. So yeah, so then we during the process we were lucky enough. Mark's dad, who's his mum and dad are hugely important in the farm, and Adrian himself had seen robots in Scotland, I think it was, on a Holstein tour, and yeah, they were always sort of in the back of his mind. And yeah, when the decision was made to what are we going to do, we wanted to have a housing system, and we knew that we had to upgrade the dairy. We looked at a few different options, rapid release, and a rotary, and just sort of looked at the finances, and just sort of Adrian in the background sort of saying, what about robots? And yeah, we eventually came on board with him, and thank God we did, because yeah, I would not go back. It's the best thing that we could have done. Having my kids are older than Sarah's, so we sort of missed a lot of time with them as they were growing up, because yeah, a lot of our time was spent in the dairy. So yeah, the robots are definitely
Essentially, it sounds like you were doing an 8-9 hour day.
just in the dairy,
If
milking.
Just
if
in milking.
things go well.
And that's it. Yeah, if it goes good. Yeah. So it was a lot of work, and it was predominantly the three of us. We did get to a point where we were able to get a relief milker in, so that we could just get a weekend off, and it just sacrifice some Neville. Yes, a little bit of work-life balance, but yeah, just so you can step away and just breathe, get a life back.
How many robot farms did you look at before making the decision to go to robot farms?
Myself personally, I was lucky enough to go down and see Phil and Simone.
I went there too.
Yeah, they're great. They're fantastic. But I know the boys went and had a look at a couple of different farms, and then Mark, myself, and his dad Adrian, we were lucky enough to be able to go on a Lely trip over to the Netherlands and Germany.
Yep.
And that was amazing. We were also lucky enough that our shed designer James Green was able to come along on that trip with us.
Yep.
Which made life so much easier when we got back, sitting around the table, looking at different designs and how we wanted to make this happen, without having to sort of explain to him, well, we saw this or we saw that, and he was there along with us, so we could just sort of say, farm 1, farm 2, things like that. So, yeah.
What do you find your biggest challenge is in a barn setup?
Oh, that's a really good question. Probably for us at the moment, the biggest challenge is not actually robot related. It's more the bedding, and especially in winter is keeping that bedding at a nice, not too dry but not really wet, and that's sort of the last couple of years we've struggled with that, and we're still essentially learning. So every day we're learning something new, and sort of trying to find out what the best recipe is. We're trying whatever people come up with, to just sort of get that bedding so that it's dry enough and comfortable enough for the cows, and it also then prevents illness and stuff. So if we can get that bedding at the right temperature, things like mastitis and stuff will be drastically reduced.
Yeah, and I think too with the last couple of years being so wet,
Yeah,
if we move through a dry winter or a drier winter, will that help?
I think so, definitely. With the barn, because we're open at the sides, so you get a foggy day, the fog's coming in. So there's no, like if you had walls on, obviously it would be a lot different on the inside, but we like having the breeze coming through. So we like having that open sides, a bit of sun comes in. But yeah, it does make it that little bit harder when you get sideways rain, and fog is not great.
Why'd you go with an open barn rather than a closed barn? Because a lot of barns in Germany would have been enclosed barns.
I think temperature's the biggest thing. I know, the enclosed, I think that we would have had to have had a lot more fans, and the cooling system would have been a lot more. But I think a lot of it was utilising the breezes and utilising the natural resources to keep the barn cool in the summer. It's generally, unless it's humid, humidity does get in here, but if it's just a straight hot day, straight 40-degree day, it's still nicer to be in here than it is outside. And generally, in summer, the cows have their pattern. They're inside during the day and they wander outside at night, and in winter they reverse it. Generally, they're outside during the day, and at night time they're all nice inside, all nice and cozy on the bedding there. So I think having the walls open just allows that bit of sunlight to come through, and that breeze is really important.
Would you go back to a grazing system in the future?
No. We're sort of looking at it in terms of our ability to change our focus. So before we moved into the barn, we were a TMR farm, so we did have the total mixed ration happening. I know for one herd it was for their whole lactation. Another herd did get a little bit of grazing, but being able to utilise our land to grow our fodder so that we're not having to buy in as much and try and be self-sufficient, that's where we're sort of looking. Like the cows they're loving being in this shed. They're not walking, they're not dealing with the mud, we're not having as much foot issues with in the wet winters. We've just been through another flood event at the end of last year. We would have had to have found somewhere off-site for our cattle to be. 90% of our farm was underwater. So the girls in this shed, they had no idea. They didn't know that there was a flood going on. Our milk production didn't drop. That sort of adds one advantage to it.
So it isolates you from the risks of the environment around you.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, as long as we've got fodder, the cows are fine. And that's the thing. Look, we are reliant on what we put in front of the girls, so we do have to make that food. With the flood event we've just had, we lost a lot of our silage, so we were lucky enough that we'd been able to store up enough to get us through to this season, to get the new season stuff in. So that side of things, it could be a little bit tricky, but I think being able to stockpile on a good year is going to be an advantage for us moving forward. And we've got full control. So we don't get a lot of ebb and flow with our milk production. It's staying at a really nice even line. If anything, it's increasing because we can control 100% what's in front of the cows. So they don't get anything that we don't give them. So we can, really utilise that.
So you must work really closely with your nutritionalist.
Oh, 100%. No, he's integral to the business moving forward. He is able to log in to our Lely command centre and see at any time what's going on, which can be a disadvantage sometimes. You might have a breakdown which causes a robot to be out for a few hours, so you'll see a leader drop and you'll get a phone call, what's going on? It's like, well, this happened, it's fine. But yeah, it's being able to have that data for him as well. He can sort of see what the cows are doing, if we need to tweak something. Yeah, it's really, really important.
Yeah, very good. Sarah, what would the challenges be on your farm, being it's a grazing farm and not a barn system?
Yeah, well, our biggest challenge is maintaining the right balance of feed to get good cow movement and to get good production, to keep it all as a nice flow. Managing pasture with irrigation, it's always, you know, it has its good and its bad, always. You just require good management regardless of the dairy we've used, you know, to having robots. It just doesn't change that. Regardless of if you have a robot farm, you still have to manage your pasture the best way you can. Yeah, we find that's our biggest challenge, is making sure that you've given enough in the paddock for them to walk home, or you haven't overfed them in the paddock so they won't walk home. So with our system, we have, it's really hard to compare to the barn system. It's
apples and
different.
oranges.
Yeah, I thought we'd be able to pick out a few bit more, but no, it's chalk and cheese.
Yeah.
So would you move to a TMR system in the summertime? Or would you still continue to graze, or does your calving pattern not allow that? Or
So with it, never say never. I mean, we evolve every day. Like 1 minute we were on 2 feed pads and we were, you know, feeding them straight silage and almond hulls and whatever. But then the next day we're like, oh, we've got enough grass over there. We're going to change to 3 grasses. So we continually evolve every day. It's so frustrating for people around us that Tim's changed his mind. He's changed his mind again. And that's one of our biggest challenges, is not having something that's probably as consistent as what it could be for staff wise, you know. But it seems to work well with us. When we had the wet conditions during the flood time, you know, the areas would get really plugged up where they're walking in, because we have 3 different ways to walk in and out. We have 4 actually, and just trying to divert them to make sure that they can still get into the dairy and make sure they're not slipping. Trying to keep it clean. The shit piles are huge, you know. Just trying to clean up and make sure that they're happy walking in. I do find that, you know, in comparative to having a rotary dairy, they're not all coming in at once. So they're single file, you know, they're got a lot, they can come in their own time, and it's slower, and they're not getting pushed in, you know, so you know, you don't have that force behind them to make them be there at a certain time.
do you find that the cows don't come in during the heat of the day and stay away, or do they still come in during the heat of the day?
So we were really surprised during January, February. We thought that they'd just stay under the trees, or we thought that they wouldn't come in, but they were still moving, and they were still doing their normal thing.
That's awesome.
They'd be probably during the hottest time of the day, probably between 3 and 2 and 4. The gate was going to change, and they knew the gate was going to change at, you know, that 3:30, 4 o'clock. So they would go to the dairy, because they knew that if they go in early, they can just wait until they'd be undercover then, and then go. So our cows really manipulated the way they wanted to move, especially during the summer. And we set the trees up. So we had a paddock of trees, sort of a thing, which, you know, in the future might need to be a full shed. We're not going to counter that out. You know, we're just going to fully continue to evolve, and if it works into that way.
That was leading into my next question. Do you see a future in grazing, or is it the future a barn system?
I do see a future in grazing for us. I mean, it's me and Tim, and we have 2 other full-time employees, and we have another part-time employee who is so amazing. She comes through and cleans all our robots. It's just like a house cleaner, and she does the best job and just keeps the maintenance up. And we don't have that many people on farm. So once me and Tim go away, we leave it to two others and they can handle it because they just put a fence up and the cows move.
Yep.
So you just have to be able to get your head around making sure, because everything comes with its problems, like feed pads, for instance. If it's wet, same thing. The feed pad gets wet, it gets slippery. There's cow poo. There's an abundance of bugs as well. And if you're not, when we have the 3 feed pads going, we have to harrow every day, each feed pad. So there's, maybe if it was undercover, hey, you wouldn't have to do that as much.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'd never wipe that out. We're just evolving all the time. We just change, chop and change. But yeah, we do go from pasture grazing to feed pad grazing to, part and part, one and one. During the summer we did put millet in and we fed millet, and that they move so well with millet. They really ate their paddock and came in, went to the next one. So cow movement's really important to us, but it is a challenge. Fences, all you need is one cow to find a weakness in the fence, and it's a real problem when it comes to robots, and that's okay. And because our movement all happens at night, a weakness in the fence comes up at night, or a forgetful moment of, you left that gate open, and we've had areas of where the cows have managed to get themselves, locked behind a fence, and you wake up in the morning, look at the fetch list, and it's 150. You're like, oh, what? The alarms start going off because the interval has exceeded, and you go find the cows, and they're standing there, they're keen, but the gate's closed. And then they just bolt straight to the dairy. And which is, they know where they want to be, but if they're stuck. You can fall behind. Same thing, nutritionist gets online and says, what happened? They got to the next paddock. And that's okay. And it takes a while to catch up, but hey, it always happens on either a Friday night and a Sunday morning.
Guaranteed.
Do you find you use the nutritionist more now with the robots than you did previously? Or is it the same?
I think it's the same. Our nutritionist loves robots. It's really interesting because he can get his data and he can get it now. He doesn't have to ask.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get the propaganda from us. He can look on and he can find it, and he knows how much grain the cows are getting, and and he knows where we're at.
Did you previously herd test once a month in the old system, or what was?
Herd test. That's like a swear word, man.
It's not a fun job.
In our rotary, with the it was a drama. By the end of it, you had shit up to your knees, and something wouldn't work, and the cows are still going around, and you're like, slow down. I'd love to have herd tested more, but no. And we still don't herd test now because we get enough data. But I mean, he's the saying we don't in the future.
With the robots, you herd testing every milking, aren't you?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But not National Herd have new systems involved, and they can find out some more information.
Yeah, it'd be nice to not herd test.
Yeah. Because you guys still herd test.
We do. Yeah.
Because it's a third party here that doesn't take the information.
Yeah. So we still have to herd test, and I say I still have to herd test. I am going to put my hand up and say that is my job, and there's many words I could use to describe it, but I won't.
But the data's amazing, and any data's a wonderful data, and you can help.
Yeah, it's really, for us, it's really frustrating. There is only one reason that we do have to herd test, and it's because we have a starred herd. So we need that data to be accepted by a third party. And at the moment, they're not accepting the lifetime data from the robots. So we're actually only testing for fat, protein, and cell count. We're not actually testing for litres. They're accepting the litres as it's recorded through the robot. So we only take one sample. We've got 6 shuttles, but I use 4, so I can do 2 herds at a time. And if everything works beautifully, like it has done just this last Sunday and Monday when I herd tested, it works really, really well. If it doesn't, it can be a real pain in the backside when you have cows that are milking 3 or 4 times and you have to sample every milking. You get a lot of samples you don't need. So for us to be able to not herd test is going to be amazing. And it's kind of frustrating in terms of every hour you get updated data on every cow. And it's so much more accurate than, well, even just herd testing through the robots is so much more accurate than what it was through the old dairy. The way that it's structured to collect the milk through the robots, you're getting a full sample of the whole lot of the cow's milk. So it's not just which quarter's milking out quicker and squirting that milk out. You're getting the whole lot because it keeps it in the bowl and then it mixes it and then it takes a sample. So it's not just, whatever's coming out quickest, and you don't have to worry about, one of the things not working and you're not getting the full sample. So down the track, I believe it's getting closer, but for us to not have to herd test will be wonderful, and for them to accept the data, because it is so close to being identical that it's ridiculous.
Frustrating.
Yeah, it really, really is. And yet we have so much more at our fingertips at any time of the day, anywhere in the world, with the app, and just being here, we can look up any cow and see what they're doing at any given time. And depending on when you herd test, the cow could be bulling, something else could have happened, and it changes then what that cow's history is. It changes what her actual lactation is, but the daily data from the robot gives you a true and correct litres of what that cow is actually doing every day, and then for her 305 days, which is what we class as our lactation. So to not be able to herd test would be amazing.
It is getting closer.
Yeah, I believe so. I get excited.
Mandy, how long did it take you to decide to build a barn? What process did you go through? How long did it take? Did it take a year? Did it take 2 years?
I think the discussions started in 2016. The discussions had been there for a long time. The boys especially have always been sort of looking forward with what we can do to make life better for these girls on the farm, because without them being happy and healthy cows, we have nothing. The process, the talk started in 2016, that sort of involved the whole family being involved, Adrian and Cheryl, Mark, Adam, who's now on board with us, myself, Colin. We were all sort of integral in the conversations. Our nutritionist was in there as well. Unfortunately, we lost Mark's mum, Cheryl, in 2017. So she was actually not able to see this barn come to fruition, but she was certainly on board at the start of it, and she would have been so proud of what we've been able to achieve. We started building in 2018.
So it takes a while. So
well, there was a lot of different designs. Initially, when they were first doing the designs, we had all 8 robots up one end of the shed, and the shed split into 2 herds. And what we ended up with is everything in the middle of the shed, and the shed split into 4 herds with 2 robots in each section, and 120 to 125 cows going through those 2 robots, and it's working really well.
It's just important for people to realise that if they're looking at a barn system, that it is a long process to transition from conventional dairy to a barn system.
Well, and it's that thing of everyone had, like when we were sitting down around the table, we all had different ideas of what we wanted this to achieve. Mark had his thoughts, Adam had his, Colin had his, all sort of coming in together, and to be able to sort of, have that all come to be what we're sitting in today was really incredible. And the team who were able to sift through all the designs and all the ideas and come up with the final design. It's a fluid thing to start off with, because you can go around to different places and come up with different thoughts and how you want it to, or what you want it to look like, what you want to achieve. And it's a very personal thing too. Everyone has different ideas on what they want to do. So
Can you tell us a bit more about how many litres a day you're doing? How many times the cows are visiting the robots?
So at the moment, I actually looked at the computer this morning before you guys all came, and our data at the moment, we're sitting at around 2.6 milkings a day, and we were looking at 2.5 being a good number for us to be happy with. We're sitting between 38.1 litres and 39 litres average a day. We're doing 2.9 to 3 kilo solids.
Wow. Yeah.
And our fat and protein sitting, fat 4.2 and protein, which I've written it all down on my hand, 3.3. And we're sitting fairly consistently at that. We're generally sending a day between 16 and 17,000 litres a day. And at the moment that's off about 455 cows. So.
Where do you see your views on return on investment?
I think, without sitting down and actually doing the nitty gritty of the finances, I think that we're sort of finding that it's there, 100%. Our first 12 months in the barn compared to our last 12 months outside the barn, we had an increase of 1.4 million litres. We've just knocked over our second year in here, and we increased another 500 to 600,000 litres in that time. So we're up 2 million litres since we moved in here. Our herd test I've literally just done. The cows were averaging 38.9 litres on that herd test. When we look at our 2020 data for the same month, we were sitting at 26.
Yeah, okay.
So it's sort of things like that. Milk price at the moment makes it very good. So our return on that. And just looking outside, looking at these girls in this barn, they are so happy. That's a huge thing. And work-life balance. We're starting at 6 and we can be home anywhere from 4:30 to 6:30. So for us, that's absolutely huge. That's probably the biggest return. Is having that work-life balance.
So sometimes the return on investment doesn't have to be monetary. It can be
100%. And it's one of those things sitting back where we are compared to where Sarah is at the moment. My kids have just turned 21 and 19. If I could go back in time 10 years ago and do this, I would have gained so much more time with them that I've lost in the hard work of being a farmer. But that is what it is, and that's what we sign up for. So
And Sarah, have you seen an increase in milk production versus the rotary versus the robots?
We have. Not as exciting as Mandy Dee.
But like you said before, it's a different. It is a different thing.
So really, I looked at our pay slips the other day, and we are 33% up on what we were last year.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That is huge.
For what we put in July last year and this year, it's 33%. Mind you, that there's an extra 100 and some cows as well, but it's comfortable.
Yeah.
It's like, during our toughest time in the Northern Victoria, to have cows is like June, July, trying to get, the grass is dormant, it's hard to feed them. It's, you know, it's wet, can't feed pad, you know, all those sorts of things. We got through with 500 cows and we're like, whoa, that was intense. So, you know, before we'd only ever worked with 360 during that time because it was, you just couldn't handle it, you couldn't manage it. So yeah, we're sort of ticking boxes. We are running at, I think they've slowed down a bit now with the 3 grazings. We're sitting at 2.4 milkings, but we have been sitting at that 2.6, 2.7 when it comes to the 3 feed pads. So really depending on the food that they are given at the time, depending on how slow they go. But yeah, so we're sitting between 2.4 and 2.56, currently, we're sitting at, I think we're at 27 kilos. Our fat's at 4.1 and our protein's at 3.55.
Yeah, that's very good.
We're sending, and the milk tanker comes daily. I love the milk tanker. Logistics must hate us. It's just 1 minute they come at 8:30 in the morning. Back in the day when you had the rotary, you'd mark the VAT based on how well you were going and the number that you get, you know, when they come, they take this amount and that's where you mark your day, isn't it? Like, okay, woohoo, we just cracked 12,000, whoop whoop. Okay, milk tanker comes at 8 o'clock in the morning. This is a mental challenge. This isn't a challenge. It's got nothing to do with me. It's just a green and red light that we have on the computer saying if we're doing well or not doing well. So it's a mental challenge, not a farming challenge. The milk tanker turns up at 8:30. Go him! He got out of bed early, comes to us first, and he takes 9,000 litres. You're like, it's not much of a day. And then, yesterday, he rocks up at 2 o'clock. He took 16,000 litres. We've doubled our production. No, we haven't. And so the 24 hours, the milk tanker it's just one of my, it's just, you know, it's one of my mental challenges. It's looking at the pay slip and going 16,000, 8,000, 16,000, 12, 12, 10, 12, you know, it's just the consistency of the day. Cow health. The robots, people have commented on how nice our cows are, how calm they are. You standing post-milk washing down the yard and they'd come up and give you a butt. They lick you. They are just so kind and friendly and they're so much slower. They stop and they have a bit of a gawk out after they've finished milking. Is it safe to move yet? Oh no, I might just stay back. Whereas the rotary is like, get off! Get off!
Yeah.
If you don't get off now, I'm gonna squirt you. With a milker like that. I'm gonna put a zapper on her. Don't do it! Don't touch my baby.
It's so much more relaxed.
And now they're just standing there, they're looking at it, they're gonna say something? You're gonna say something?
Yeah.
And the game's in their hands, you know, and that's a big difference.
Why do you think it's easier milking more cows during the wetter time between the two systems? To go from 350 cows in a rotary to go to 500 cows in robots. Why do you think that's easier?
I suppose in the winter no one wants to stand in the dairy for too long. We had a few conception issues due to that wet weather, but and had new to robots, so we were down there. It was easier because we could manage their feed better. So they had 3 different ways to go. You know, we could give them more options, whereas before you'd only give them the 2 options, after milking feed and after milking feed, 2 after milking feeds. So having 3 different options to go 3 different ways, you know, we could have gone 4, but it's not something where we're at the moment. But that then splits them up. And then they can walk into the dairy at an easier pace. And if it's wetter, they'll only go back to 2.1 milkings because, you know, the movement slows down.
The environment.
Because of the environment.
Yeah.
So it is easier in those harder, wetter times to manage that many cows because not all of them get milked twice every 24 hours. Some of them are sitting at every 17 hours. Some of them sit at 14 hours. If they're heavier in calf, they come when they want to. But yeah, I think that made the
And you wouldn't have to put so much feed on the pad because you're not feeding the whole herd at once.
Correct. That's right. And the space, and they're not all going to that feed pad to eat, and they don't all have to have priority.
Yeah.
So you can move it that way. So yeah, it makes a bigger difference.
Yeah. What would your average daily routine?
Yeah, I'll take
look
the
like?
routine. Well, Mandy says she gets up at 6. You get up at 6? What time are you here?
Yeah, I get up at 6. I'm here at 6:05.
Are you? My alarm goes off at 6.
I don't drink coffee, so I don't have to make myself a coffee before I get here.
We don't need to drink in the morning. So what does my day look like? So every morning me and Tim get up, we look at our fetch list. If the fetch list is really high, we run. it's like, quick, let's go. Generally in the morning, so we check who is in which paddock. This morning, when Tim changed the fence that was going to be for their 8 o'clock changeover, so we moved the fence, then we walked down and got the rest of the cows out of the fetch, which ones needed to be fetched, out of sea grazing, and brought them back to the dairy. If our cleaner's not there, we get up a bit earlier because it's really quiet at our dairy between 5 and 6:30. Might be a bit earlier than that. I wouldn't know because I'm not up at that time. The only time I'm up there is if it says an alarm. And the dairy gets completely washed and cleaned. Everything gets cleaned up between 5 and 8 o'clock. So it's either us or our person worker comes through and does that, which is fantastic. So then we go and get our calves in. And once we just check over and get the fetch girls in, we get the calves in, and then I go home at 7:30. So there's an hour there on there, maybe, if you're lucky. But Tim's there for a bit longer. But we come home, have breakfast with our kids, and then go back again. Leave the cows, and then come back and feed the colostrum to our calves. So that's all done by 9 o'clock. Get my kids on the bus. Say goodbye, and then we come back to the dairy. Before we were lucky to make it, you miss the bus. Oh, I missed the bus. So now we're there for the kids in the morning. And then we deal with our calves, feed the calves. We have an automatic calf feeding system with them, so they're feeding all over, all 24 hours a day. Also, much like our robot system. I think that's breeding them to come into the robots too.
Do you find that the transition from rearing the cows with automatic calf feeders to robots, those heifers transition a lot better than feeding them conventionally?
Oh, I've never fed them conventionally personally. When it came to the dairy robots, but they love their grain, so we also feed feedlots sort of our calves. We feed them grain and milk. And then just purely grain and obviously fodder, other stuff, but we don't pasture feed our kids. And then we and if they have a love for grain, they have a love for a robot.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
I suppose they're walking into a stall
as well. They're used to that. They're used to the stall and they're used to standing there, and they do stand so calmly.
Yeah.
They are. Yeah, I guess they are. Yeah. So pretty good.
I've got a question for you both. Let's say there's a farmer out there who's trying to decide between a grazing system and a barn. Under what circumstances would you recommend one or the other?
I think it's personal choice.
Yeah.
I think it's purely personal choice because it's just, like a bit of it might come down to finances as well. But I think it comes down to how you see what you're doing, like what your future is. And I think it is purely,
what suits you? There's a lot of ways to farm.
Oh, gotcha.
We can can talk about all the ways to farm
Yeah,
over 5 days, I reckon, not just an hour.
yeah.
Do you think if you're in a TMR system, it'd be a lot easier to transition to a barn, being in a TMR system rather than a grazing system
Yeah, I
to a
think,
barn?
well, we sort of we were a little bit of both, but I think the TMR definitely helps because the cows are used to the feed
Yeah.
for a big part. Like you're not going to have that lag where they get used to what you're putting in front of them because they've already got a controlled diet.
Yep.
So they already know. And I know we had a lot of issues with grazing. There's certain paddocks they just hated.
Yep.
And it was like you put them out there
And you watch
an hour
the
later,
back go
they're
down.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And you watch that.
Yeah, like I think like the TMR side of things, you've got full control. So I think definitely going from a TMR system into a robot and a barn is I mean it's an easy thing. But cows they'll go wherever the food is.
Yeah,
as long as they're getting fed.
Yeah.
They're led by their stomachs.
Yeah.
100%.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, can we go back to your routine? What do you do?
My-
How's your daily
my
routine
routine.
going?
Yeah. So, we get here at 6. Generally, there's 4 of us here. We have instigated the start of this year 3-day weekends, which is amazing. So there's a couple of days where there's not 4 of us here. Loving that. So we get here at 6. Someone generally goes to our sick herd and starts putting our sick herd through. Another person will go, well, generally Colin is going around looking and making sure that all the fresh cows have been through so that he's got the milk to feed the calves. I'll often go into the office and do our fetch list. So we do have a clipboard, 2 lists each. So we get 2 herds each. Mark and I are generally doing the heifer herd, which is our C herd, and A herd. And Adam and Colin usually they head off to herd D and herd B. Our daughter Hannah comes in a little bit and she'll generally run those herds separate as well. We'll print out our lists, check who has to be joined, check our health list, make sure that there's no one feeling unwell. Then we'll go out and we'll do our fetches. Generally, we've got everyone collected behind the robots by about just after 7. And then we start the hosing, treatment, joining program. Usually 2 of us are hosing, so we generally have that finished by 8:39. If we've got 3 hosing, it's a little bit quicker. So that gets all the hosing done around the robots, and that's only done once a day. And then Colin or Mark are generally doing the treatments on the sick cows and the AI. And then Cole goes off and he does the calves, and I'll come in and have breakfast, do whatever computer work needs to be done, and generally after that we can be off doing whatever else needs to be done. So we can be working with young stock, doing paddock work, whatever.
So would you check your fetch list how many times a day?
Twice
Twice a day?
Yeah, just twice a day.
Yeah.
So we do a full fetch list. So we don't actually go off the collect list that the computer sets us. We go via the herd.
Yep.
So basically in the morning we're collecting everything up to the last cow that we put through the night before.
Yep.
So we'll collect all of those. And at the moment,
do you know where they are? Are they in an area that you know where they are? Or
each cow?
Yeah, like these cows that you're getting. Like that's one big thing. Like obviously my cows are in that paddock.
Yeah, so
they're in. Oh, you buggers! You're still in C grade. You're supposed to be in A.
So essentially, it's a similar thing, but the same cows are in each area. So every cow is listed in their herd, and they get listed. So we have a management group.
Yeah.
So herd A, herd B, herd C, and herd D, and that has only the cows that are in those groups. So all of those cows, I think at the moment we've got maybe 101 in herd D. So that just gives us all of those cows. So we know where they are. So we just print off that individual list, and that gives us those cows.
So then you just have to walk around, and Bessie's there, but Bessie's been through 3 times, but Alfie's over there being
Well,
crumpy.
So that's the thing. We get our individual list with, I think we had 4 in her day this morning.
Yeah.
So
that makes
and
it
it's
easier.
just got those 4 cows on there, which I think was Primrose, Rosella, Leanna, and Serena.
Yeah.
So we just go and find those girls.
Yeah.
We've got their names listed. The boys know the cows by their names.
Yeah.
I know more of the numbers.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the collar with the number, and we just go and individually get those girls up, put them on the feed alley, and bring them down to the robots.
Yeah.
So 2 of us can sort of do that with gates and stuff. So we do that in each herd. So 2 work in each herd and do 2 herds. And then in the afternoon we'll come back, put the sick herd through at 2 o'clock.
Yep.
And do another fetch at 2:30 or 3 o'clock, depending on whether we want an early finish or a late finish.
Yeah. Well,
And then we
see,
tip troughs, put the cows through, do whatever treatments and joinings, and good day, we're out of here by 4:30.
And do you come back at all at night time? Does
Only if
anyone-
there's an alarm.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So
see.
we've got cameras everywhere.
Yep.
So even our calving barn, and we calve all year round.
Yep.
So we've always got something in the springer shed.
Yeah.
But even checking springers, it's on the camera.
Oh, really?
Unless there's someone that's been calving for a little while, and then we'll come back and check them. But generally, we only come back if there's an alarm.
Yeah.
So once we've gone, we've gone.
I suppose with our 3-way grazing, obviously it changes every 8 hours. So every paddock changes every 8 hours. So we got midnight, 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. essentially.
Yep.
We can get stuck in our way. Like we get them in the morning, so we get the last ones in, so that can come back in. So we get A in because you've got to go back to A at 8 o'clock. Most of the time they'll come back from B happily, no dramas. It's during the day. They're home, and they get to see, and then we do have a little bit of a habit of going out after the kids go to bed at night time. So, and making sure that fetch list is down and just giving them a bit of a shuffle up. And I suppose that's the biggest difference with pasture versus barn. I mean, how often do you put the feed out in the feed alley, for instance?
They get fed 3 times a day.
Yeah.
So first thing in the morning, we've got 2 guys who do the feed, predominantly do the feed. So one's my brother who works here as well, so a nice family operation. And another worker that we've had for, I think it's 12 years now. He's been with us, Howard. So they predominantly, they're doing the mixing. So one gets here, starts the mixing, then jumps on the push out tractor. So they push out whatever feed's been left the night before, then that gets fed to our heifers, and then the other person's doing the mix. So first mix goes out before 7, second mix goes out around midday, and then last mix goes out anywhere from 4 o'clock onwards, and generally before 6 at night, unless there's a breakdown with the tractor. But generally there's food in front of them 24/7.
Yep.
And whatever wastage as such there is, it goes to young stock. So whereas before they'd be sitting in it, making a mess of it, and they weren't utilising the feed that they had. We're feeding more in here, but they're actually utilising it. So but it's very much that mindset thing. So where you were saying that you come out after the kids go to bed, we find that we're here for no real reason at all. As like, I could have gone home an hour ago.
Yes.
But I'm mucking around.
And that's the biggest thing
And
with
it's-
robots is knowing when your day starts
Yeah.
and when it ends.
And it's just go home. You
Yeah,
don't have to be
You
here.
don't- no.
But it's that thing of not for so long, having days that went so long. It's like, oh God, get home at 6 o'clock. I've had tea by 7.
I feel
That's
bad.
what normal people do.
I feel bad. What do you do? Yeah.
What are we supposed to do now?
So we're trying to train ourselves out from going out after night, but we are carving at the moment, so we do check. But we don't. We have cameras, but they don't work all the time.
But
because they're spread out over a paddock, it's
Yeah.
much more difficult. So you can see the differences between the
Yeah.
barn and the grazing, and so we have 2 other people. They put straw out, feed the calves. At the moment, Tim's putting a big pipeline in, so we come to the dairy at probably 8, and he's just trying to make it easiest for us to irrigate going forward. So he'll spend most of his day doing that, and Emma will keep going, circling the dairy and making sure all the treatment cows are done and those little things, and make sure the girls are. I think there's only 7 cows left to calve. So we were 4 calving. We just recently made the decision to go back to 3, so we're going to see how that goes going forward. It's time consuming when you're calving. You're also AIing, and we don't do our AI. We does, but he doesn't. Northern Herd come in and do our AI, and that's the biggest difference. So when we had the feed pad going, we'd have to have the feed put out in A and B, and that all got done at the same time because they were all pushed out. And then the D1 would get put out at, it's 3 o'clock, so just before. So we always have to keep moving those cows out of the paddock to keep the flow going at times. But it's really tight.
And for the people that don't have robots or are thinking about robots, can you explain what a fetch list is?
So the good old fetch list. So the fetch list on my phone, it will tell me how many cows have been. It used to be over 10 hours. It's over 12 hours. You can set it to whatever time you want. 12 hours since they've been milked. You can go on that fetch list, and each cow, once they hit 12 hours and they haven't come back to the dairy and haven't registered, then that number will be on that list. And I can click the cow in on the phone, and it will tell me if she's either in A, B, C, or D. And I know I can go find her. Otherwise, she'd be still in pre-milk. And I suppose the difference, all our cows stand in pre-milk, just the same as a rotary dairy, they all stand on the yard. At times, some of those younger heifers they get lost in the crowd, and they can stand there a while at times when you have the bigger bullier cows. And it's probably one of the bonuses of Mandy's system is the fact that you've got them separated. Yeah, you got your vulnerable cows in one corner and boisterous ones up the other end. Whereas ours are all mixed together, and they're always moving together. And the vulnerable ones stand at the front and they look out the gate and go, "Sarah, help me!" And I put the gate down and let them go in the priority robots.
They do.
It's really funny. Their heads through the gate.
And
they're just so much more calmer. If they don't want to move out, we go to fetch them, and we know, okay, there's 25 on that fetch list, and we know that they're in C because they have to be in C, for instance. And you walk around them, and they will not move. If you've given them too much grass in there, they just go, they laugh at us.
They have no respect.
None.
We have the same problem. We rotate the compost areas every day, so that generally gets done after the first mix has gone out, so that you've got a lot less on the pack, but there is usually someone sitting there, and they don't care. You could literally drive the tractor right up to them. They're not moving. They have no respect. They don't. They know you're not going to run them over. So they're just like, go around me, you'll be fine. But that was one thing that we were worried about probably moving into this system, was that we'd lose that contact, that one-on-one contact that we had with the cows. We've always been really tactile with them, having a stud herd. We've always been in and around the cows all the time. You're looking at particular cows, showing cows, you're working with them all the time. They're so much more quieter in here. And I think part of it is too, we're much more relaxed when we're working around them. Because you'd start the day. Well, that's it. You'd start the day and you knew at 5 o'clock in the morning that you had 5 hours on concrete. And if they didn't want to move, they didn't want to move. And they hated being there too. They didn't want to go in the old dairy. They didn't want to be there. So now they're happy. We're a lot less stressed. There's a lot less yelling going on.
No more.
And it's just, they're, like you said before, they come up to you, you can't hose without someone sniffing you. Generally, someone's coming in to say hi, and we've always had the quiet cows that you can give a scratch to. There's a lot more of those than there used to be.
I have a lot, and we
Yeah.
never. Our cows, you'd walk through them and they just part ways.
Yeah.
On the rotary, you'd walk down and they'd all part, and it was like, whoa, someone's in here. And now you walk through them, they will not.
No.
I was on my phone the other day sending a text message, not concentrating, walking through a cow, and I ran into one. Like, are you right? And she's just like, literally had to walk around her because I was just like, oh. I was in hysterics.
I found out in here for the first time that cows snore.
Oh, really?
I didn't know cows snored.
Oh, no.
They actually snore. It is the funniest thing. I didn't realise. But yeah, they're so relaxed.
Yeah.
They're so comfortable, and they're not fearful, so they can go into a proper deep sleep. And I mean, the funniest thing is to wake a cow up because of the second eyelids. It takes them a little bit to realise that you're standing there, and it's like, you just stand there looking at them, and eventually, they sort of look up, and it's like, oh God, you're standing there. Yeah. So seeing really relaxed, quiet cows.
So back when we were in the rotary or on the thing, you were spending like 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Trying to, with that cow.
Yeah.
Hours and cups on. You're putting them on. Hey, baby, give her a scratch on the tail, whatever. And then she's gone.
Yeah.
Now it's like she's sick. Oh, it's 15 minutes. You'll spend with one cow, just trying to make sure that her foot's all right. It's just the time spent with some of these cows.
And they've got personalities. Oh. And they're all individual.
Yeah,
it's like, they're so funny.
And maybe it's our self-awareness of, not having to be rushed and not
That's
having
it.
to
You've got that
speed
time.
through the dairy. It has changed the way the cows act.
Yeah.
And I think that's a common misconception with robots opposed to traditional, is that you don't have that personal touch with the traditional as you do with the robots.
Yeah.
But the cows are quieter with the robots.
Yeah.
And you have more time to spend with the cows.
You do.
You
Yeah.
In the robots.
Yeah. Like we have, I call them invisible cows, and they're the ones that you're never fetching, so you forget that they're there. Yeah. But you'll wander through and go, oh, hello, you're here. And it's like, invisible cows, that's what we want. But they're not invisible because we're not taking any notice of them. It's because they've gotten used to the system and they're so comfortable, they're just doing it themselves. Yeah. And it's, you see them at AI and you see them at dry off. Yeah. And that's what you want, because they're doing their thing, and that's how it's supposed to be. They're just, they're happy with their life, and they're free to do what they want. So,
right. So, Jason, you just said misconceptions. Now, when you're going around selling these robots, what is one of the biggest misconceptions you hear?
I hear that you don't have the personal contact with the cows.
That one, right.
Because when you're in a herringbone, you've got cows either side of you, and you have that personal contact with the cow. You have that personal contact with the cow that comes in first on the first side every building.
Yep.
You don't have that with robots. But when you go to a robot farmer, they're a lot happier. The cows are a lot happier. The cows are a lot quieter. And the cows come up to you. They come up to strangers. Whereas in the conventional system, if you're in a rotary system and somebody walks in and they're smoking, all the cows poop everywhere.
I do not miss that.
When a new person walks into a robot system, all the cows go, oh yeah, g'day, how you going? How are you today? Can you give me a scratch behind the ear?
Yeah.
Oh my God, when we were building our dairy right next to the rotary and the guys would come on site to start working, the angle grinder would turn on and you've got 2 rounds of cows to go and everybody starts kicking. Everyone starts shitting. Yeah. And oh my God, I do not miss that. And you run over to me, turn that thing off. Please, I've just got 50 cows to go.
And the cows stop walking in, they stop walking
They do,
in. They stop walking in the area, mate, and they stop.
Now you turn something on, they all walk straight towards you. And they're like, oh,
what are
you doing?
Yeah. is there food in that?
Yes.
Can I eat it?
Oh, that's what, with the misconceptions, like we go places and you go to football in the morning and you sit around and you talk to the people and they go, why are you going home? You're like, because we've just got to set up some paddocks. But you've got robots. You don't need to be there anymore.
Yes.
I get that. And it was really interesting. We had a Dutch boy with us for the last 3 or 4 months, and he learnt that we were really busy all the time. Things were always busy because it's just, on the weekend no one works except me and Tim, and he'd help too, and he'd go to the football and people would have the misconception, but you've got robots, why do you need to do that? Why?
Yeah.
But you've got robots, you should be able to go away for the weekend, you don't need to go back there. The misconception is that once you're a farmer, you're always a farmer.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're not putting the cups on, you're not physically doing that hard labour. You are there making sure that they're still okay. You're still making sure they're getting the right feed. They get unhappy at times, and we can tell on our phone, but we gotta go find them.
Yeah.
I got an alarm this morning, 6 hours inactive for this bird.
Yeah.
I've got to find her. I've got to go give her a pep talk and say, come on.
But I think that was too, in the early years with robots in Australia, I think the common misconception was it was set and forget.
Yeah.
You put robots in and you don't have to be there. And it's like, well, you do. There's still filters to be changed. Cows still need to be joined. There's still sick cows that need to be looked at. It's not that you've got all this free time that everyone keeps telling you about. Yeah, our free time's gone to doing all the jobs that we haven't had the time to do for the last 10 years because we've spent 10 hours a day in the dairy.
That's it.
So you've still got to grow feed. In the summer, we're still watering. There's so much to do on a farm that's not just milking, that we now have the so-called free time to do.
Yeah.
So it's not, it's just a change of focus.
Yeah.
It's not free time. It's just, it's management. Everything is management.
Yep.
And it's changing where you're looking. Yes, we don't have to physically put cups on, but we still have to be here.
Oh.
And you still have to be available.
Yes.
Someone has to be available, because if an alarm goes off, if there's a cow stuck in the box, there's also, cows do the stupidest things. They literally do. They will find the dumbest ways to hurt themselves. And someone still has to be there. You can't just wander away.
No.
You've still got filters that have to be changed.
Yeah.
And little things like that are just day-to-day jobs that are similar to the twice-a-day milking system that still have to be done. So, it doesn't take the whole team to do it, but someone has to be available. And that's,
no one was working on one weekend, and we were going to the movies as a family. We're like, oh yeah, we can do this. We've got this. 2-hour movie. We'll be off farm for what? 45 minutes to Swan Hill and back. Okay, it might be 4 hours. We'll be off farm. Okay, we can handle this. We got to Lake Boga, 45 k's down the road. Yeah, we got an alarm. Sorry guys, we're not going to the movies.
that's it.
We turned around and went home. It was not a normal alarm, so and that's okay. It's okay to get alarms because it knows that you're still keeping an eye on things. You've got to keep up with it.
And there are some that you can go, okay, this alarm, I can go to the movies on this.
Yes.
Or this one, no, that's essential. And so I refer to it as, do I stop to put all of the clothes on before I have to go and check it, or is it just a jumper and pants and off you go?
Yeah.
Have you got time to stop and put your socks on? Or do you have to get there?
The days
And
you come down in your pajamas,
Oh.
don't ever do that because it's worse than what it expected.
Yeah,
It's bigger.
It's always guaranteed that it's a major one when you're in your jammies. I do put a jumper on over the top of the jammies, but no.
Cow stocking box, yeah.
Yeah, and that's where the cameras come in handy too.
Oh yeah,
You
we
can sort
sit
of
there, yeah.
Have a look and see, I've
She's
got a little
looking out
bit
and
extra time, yeah.
And she's doing this whole
Yeah.
dodging in, dodging out, and I'm like, you know I'm watching you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until you wake up and see Postman's chockers, and you're like,
Yeah.
anyways. The little
Who
things.
left that tied up? Yeah.
I have a question, Mandy.
Yes.
Is it okay? Has a gate ever been left open and
Oh my god.
Is that still normal in a barn?
So
Yes,
Yes.
it is. We're
the only good thing is that usually if a gate's left open, it's not every quadrant.
Yep.
So it is only going to be a maximum of 125 if we're at full stop. If we're at still full stop. That being said, we now have clips on every gate because it's not just a human thing that a gate gets left open.
Oh, I know, right?
These buggers will lick a chain off.
Oh, they do.
We have one in particular, Macy, lives in the herd behind us here in herd D. She loves to lick chains.
Yep.
And you'll be in here on your own and you'll hear a chain moving. So you think, oh, who's here? And then you look at, oh, it's Macy. She's just licking a chain. So yes, yes, we have had gates left open. Usually, the most recent one was in our heifer section. So one of our herds is purely heifers. So they're a little bit stupider. And more likely to just run. So yeah, they're the teenagers. They're going to run. It's like, freedom, we're out of here. We had a plumber come in and he left one of our outside loafing areas gates unlatched. And yeah, they found their way out. Thankfully, it was only about 30, but they went everywhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, it sets all the other girls off.
Yeah.
And you know when something's not right because usually in here it's quiet.
Yeah.
It's very rare to hear cows mooing. If there's a cow out, there's mooing. So yeah, and occasionally we do have heifer will get pushed into the feed alley.
Yep.
So under the fence into the feed alley, and
Yep.
they are generally the only ones that will fit under because
Yep.
the other girls are too fat. So occasionally, yeah, you'll have one in the feed alley, which makes life a little bit interesting. But yeah, no, it does happen. It does happen. But
That's right.
yes.
We are human. It's okay.
We are, yes. And yeah, generally you can figure out who it was who did it too. So, but yeah, it doesn't happen very often. But yeah, occasionally we have gotten here and there'll be a cow sitting out, just sitting outside, just waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right. That happens with us too.
Yes, it does
Yeah.
happen. And they do just go a little bit crazy.
They do.
They do just go a little bit crazy. But they soon realise that, oh, hang on, the food's in there.
Yeah, I've lost it.
It's like,
Yeah, this stuff don't taste as good.
yeah.
Yeah, no. Glad.
How has your labour changed with the robots? Do you still have the same amount of labour? Do you have less labour? Do you have more labour?
Probably.
Do you employ more people? Do you employ less people?
We've only really increased by one,
Yep.
and that was always planned that Mark's twin brother Adam would come home on the farm. Yeah, he came on board 12 months in, I think. And I mean, that's been fantastic having him home. Well, actually, it was less than 12 months in.
Yeah,
About
I
6
reckon.
months in, yeah.
He came to a dairy.
He worked for National Herd, so he was a great loss for everyone outside, but we got him back in, which was great. So for us, that's been the only real difference. So we work on 6 full-time staff, 5 of who are family. So yeah, we have Mark and his 2 brothers, myself and my brother, and then Howard Berry, and then we have 2 part-time, which is our daughter Mark and my daughter Hannah. She's here when she's not at uni. And Mark's dad Adrian, so he's semi-retired I suppose, but he's here whenever he wants to be here, and his partner Deborah is here, and they generally, if we have a big event, they'll do a full shed clean, which is really good. And we have a weekend worker. Relief milker is his official title. It's really hard because what do you sort of call it now? But he was our relief milker before we moved in here, and he was amazing when it came to startup. He was fantastic. Took time off his real job to help us with that, but he does every second weekend. So Mark and I can have 3 days off together.
Yep.
And then, the other weekends, Colin and Adam have 3 days off on the separate weekends, so Ron works with them. So,
Yep. No,
but that's,
sounds good.
that's it for us. It's all family.
Well, I suppose ours is just myself and Tim, and we have our on-farm worker. Emma, she works Monday to Friday and Saturday mornings, and at the weekend if we're away. And then we have someone else who does the feed outs during feed pad time. He's primarily on the wagon putting the food out, but now he's just doing odd jobs and fixing and keeping up the grain to the calves, and always something to do.
Nice.
So he's got a bit more flexibility now when we've got grazing. I suppose Tim does all the grazing. Tim and I are always doing the fences, and I probably don't work as much on farm these days. During the first 8 months, I was there flat out, full time, flat out. And now I get time to just cruise around and come see Mandy. I might get to the book parade and might get to a few other things. And I work every Wednesday now. I get my hobby. So I work as an exercise physiologist in Kahina. And mainly there's 3 full-timers, 1 part-timer who just cleans everything, and I just fill in the gaps where need be. So before we used to always had to have 3 people from 5:30 in the morning. 2 people would stay on all day, even 3. We used to be in a partnership with our sister and brother-in-law, so we've had a lot of restructures over the last 10 years. But when it came to just me and Tim, we just don't employ as many people. We've had a few backpackers come in and out of recent, but we just have the same people, and lots of supportive staff around us who are fantastic with what goes on. But it falls back on Tim and I, which is fantastic too, because we love it.
No, it's good. That's good that you can both share something similar.
Yeah. So
Just to summarise the main topic, it's not one size fits all, not one system fits all.
No, Mandy's a goal shooter and I'm a defender.
Exactly.
Would have been a disaster. If we were both into the same thing, I guess.
That'd be pretty boring, wouldn't it?
It would have been. We both play the same sport,
Yes.
as in having robots, but we just don't play our attacking game the same way.
No, that's it.
So it is.
So the robots are multi-skilled. They can fit a grazing system. They can fit a TMR barn system. They can fit a hybrid system.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Because I think at the end of the day, we all have one thing in common. We're dairy farmers.
Yep.
Where our job is to produce milk.
Yep.
But to do that, you have to love your animals.
Yep.
And you have to look after your animals. And that's the thing. And be it a grazing system or a barn system, they're the ones that are the most important. Because if they're not being fed, if they're not being cared for, then they're not going to produce your milk. So grazing, barn, it's a purely personal thing.
And the cows are dictating the terms on how the farm runs.
For sure. And our place, definitely.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They come home early, they want to go to the next paddock. So they dictate.
They let you know when they're not happy.
Which really changes the scope of how farming goes.
Yeah.
Because on a conventional system, the owner or the share farmer controls the system.
Yeah.
But in a robot system, the cow's controlled.
But they can get milk whenever they want to. And like you guys have your three-way grazing system. The difference with that here is that the girls can come up whenever they want to.
Yep.
So if they want to get milked 5 times a day, they can actually get milked 5 times a day. It's purely up to them, and it's the cow's choice. And they have their habits. It's like we were talking about the herringbone before. We had cows who would only go in one side.
Yep.
We've actually found that with our robots, we have left and right robots. We have cows who will only go in one. And it does not matter how much you push them. And now that we know how much they weigh, it's not fun to push them. They will not go in one side over the other. And they have their routines, they have their patterns. Certain cows like to come in the middle of the night. Other cows like to be in the middle of the day. Like they just, they do their things. And you'll have it with your girls. They have particular places in the paddock that they like to be. And they'll have a particular robot that they will go to.
Lots.
They've
got a choice of 8 and they might just go through 7 all the time or 2.
And it's awesome to be able to see that data.
Oh, there is lots of data on that.
You can lose so much time sitting at the computer looking at that, and it's just amazing to have that.
Do you ever walk in going to look for one cow and then all of a sudden get sidetracked and you're looking at
it's like an
social
hour
media.
later.
It's like social media. You start looking at reels, but you're actually looking at cow data and how much grain did I get fed yesterday? Oh, hang on.
And then you see something and it's like, oh my god, I can't believe they've done that. And it's just and seeing them reaching the potentials that you know that they have is they're our girls. It's what we do it for.
For people that aren't robot farmers, can you explain what free cow traffic or free cow flow means?
Well, for us, it's the ability of the cow to dictate when they want to get milked. So for our girls, basically the only time that we're dictating to them is if they've been away from the robot for a long time.
Yep.
And that's when we will lock them behind the robot, and it's only twice a day. They get put behind the robot and we make sure that they go through. Otherwise, the robots are open to the cows. When you take out the wash times, they have the ability to have the robots for 22 and a half hours a day. So they can choose when they want to eat, when they want to drink, when they want to sit, when they want to milk. It's up to them.
Yep.
So we don't force them to milk. We only want them to hit their mark of 2 milkings a day.
Yeah.
Anything over that, that's up to them. Yeah.
Very good. Before we close the podcast, I've got some light-hearted questions to ask.
Oh dear.
We like to ask these at the end of every podcast. So Sarah, I'll start with you. What footy team do you follow?
Well, considering Geelong's now out of the finals, I can actually be true to myself and actually say that I'm a St Kilda supporter. And no one actually knows because I have this family of Geelong supporters who are just like, Geelong. And I have my son goes for North Melbourne, so I'm just like, play nice. And now all of a sudden, Saints are in.
So it's all right to jump ship.
Yeah, depending on who you're hanging out with, it's fine.
Okay.
You got boys, they say Geelong, okay, that's cool. Yeah. So and Maribit, because Maribit plays against Maccorner, and this weekend the Bear Reserve come up in the finals. We're here. I started in the Bear Reserve team and I should be playing against Mandy, but it just hasn't happened that way. I've been retired.
Happy about that.
I've been put into early retirement at 38.
I'm too stupid to retire. I won't say how old I am. It's a lot older than that.
Oh dear.
If you oversaw the Lely innovation team,
I don't actually know the answer to this.
and you had an unlimited budget, what would you design? What would be the next invention?
I don't know. Mandy, what would you design?
What? What, for windows? For the lasers. A wiper for the laser screens and for the 3D cameras.
The Volvos have that on their windscreen.
Yeah, on the headlights. Yeah.
Probably something to move for pasture grazing, to know how much there should be in a paddock and allowing them to, only take, I don't know.
There is something similar that's being designed for that. It's like a collar that gives them a buzzer.
Yeah, makes them come home.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Sort of.
Something to get rid of flies.
Oh, yes! The
Something
automatic
to get
fly
rid of
swisher.
flies. Yes.
This is really silly.
Yeah.
They've got these amazing vectors out there that feed them, like, fill the mixer wagon, and here we are wanting to get
I want to get rid of flies.
Yeah. Chocolate coat them, I want to.
Yeah, sell them. They're useless. Horrible. Yeah.
I think that's what you wanted. Mandy, who do you go for in the football?
I follow Essendon. Which it's been such a back in the day. Like you could be a proud Essendon supporter, not so much now. So, but yeah, no. And yeah, my other half is Carlton, but my kids are Geelong.
Oh, really?
So I've sort of always followed Essendon, but with Geelong leanings, because my dad was Geelong and my brother was Geelong. So
how is it hard not to love Geelong?
well, and because I'm a Southwest girl originally, so Geelong was our closest team. So that's the only AFL I ever got to go and see was Geelong. So yeah, so I've always had a soft spot for them. But yes, and I'm a Maccorner girl. So yeah, we're sort of mortal enemies of Margaret. Always. So yes. But yeah, no, it's always good to catch up with Sarah at Margaret and the corner games.
What was your first ever job?
Do you really have to ask?
Yes.
What do you reckon? Guess. Take a guess. What do you reckon I did?
Did you milk cows?
Yeah! Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, I used to.
Different though.
My parents had a five-a-side herringbone, like the old zigzag thing. I used to milk cows in there. And then when I got a bit older, and I went across the road and I milked in a rotary, 50-stand rotary. And then I'd come home and help mum and dad clean up. And yeah, it's boring.
I was a paper girl.
Oh, no way.
I was a townie, so I didn't grow up on a farm. So yeah, I was a paper girl before school, and on weekends I'd help my aunt make wedding flowers.
Oh, there you go.
So wedding bouquets and stuff. But yeah, I was a paper girl.
How
In
old?
hills.
How old were you when you married a farmer?
When did I get married?
Oh,
I was 22.
Met Mark.
I met Mark when I was 16. But yeah, my best friend moved up here. So yeah, and they were neighbours. And yeah, I met the boy next door, and then I finished school down home and moved up here and married the boy next door. So
There you go.
yeah, and got lucky. Became robot farmers.
Oh, I know.
Married the right one.
Isn't it the innovation we give them to push forward?
You know, it's funny though, because in our situation, our innovation was fully led by my father-in-law.
That is
And usually it's the older generation that are putting the brakes on, whereas he had to drag us into it. And it's just, to have that,
Tim's dad was extremely supportive. He was so supportive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm seeing that a lot too. The older generation grabbing hold of this a lot more.
Yeah, I think too it comes down to that work-life balance.
Yeah.
They've worked so hard, and they can see that you can get the benefits but actually have a bit of a life as well. And it's hard to get people to do it when you're doing the hours that we do. So, yeah.
What's your nicest memory in dairy farming?
I don't know. Nice.
Turning the robots on for the first time?
Oh no, that was horrible.
Switching the rotary off for the last time?
Oh, that was horrible too. I don't know. I suppose when it all clicked, that was the best part. was when things clicked and you went, I don't have to be here right now. I can go home and put that load of washing out. And it's okay not to be at the dairy at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I still walked out our driveway and go, why isn't that dairy on? Oh, look at that. Why are these cows in? And it's a year gone now and you're still like,
So that was going to be my
anxiety.
next question. How long does it take to transition from being stuck in that mould to the new way of thinking?
Yeah. Good question. Good question. I don't know. I'm still working on that.
Even 12
months
12
down
months
the
later.
track. Yeah. To be comfortable still staying in bed till 6:30 in the morning. I don't have to do this. I know I do. You know, and yeah, still working on that, but the habit disappeared pretty quick, mind you.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't know.
Mandy, what was your nicest memory?
Oh.
Putting the cows in the bath.
Yep. Probably seeing, so we've got a picture of a cow behind us Sunday. She was our biggest fear coming into here, that she, number one, that she wouldn't fit in the robot because she's huge, weighs over a ton. But yeah, seeing her in the robot for the very first time, and successfully melt, yeah, and seeing the cows start to get the hang of it and actually come up themselves, that's really nice. And I mean, I have a favourite memory from our startup. I managed herd A in our startup, and I was in the afternoon, I think it was the second, it might have even been the first day. It was either the first or the second day, and I looked up over my shoulder, and up behind me upstairs was Adrian, and he was just standing there and looking out on what he'd created, and it just, it was just so nice that, he was able to see it through to fruition as well, having lost Cheryl, and Adrian's had his issues, but to be able to see his legacy, I guess, and him to be able to enjoy it is huge. It just means so much for him to be able to enjoy it and come in and see the cows that he's had a huge part in making, and have this all come through. It's just,
What motivates you to keep working? What goals have you got for the future?
A really big holiday.
Really?
Don't
Oh,
argue with that.
I have this holiday planned. It is going to be amazing. It may never happen, but you've got to have dreams.
Oh, no.
But to have a really big holiday. But I think too, the next generation, we're really lucky in having our daughter be so involved in this and working with her day to day too, being able to work with my husband and my brothers-in-law, who I love to bits, and being able to work with my daughter is just, it's really cool. And having her as the next generation coming through, and if she decides to, this is what she wants to do, being able to have this for her to move on in the future. And
that's the same with us, the boys.
Yeah.
And they are enjoying it a lot more. And, you know, when they were younger, obviously, they're 13 and 11 now. It was only last year we were milking cows, and
But
we
the
couldn't make it to
excitement.
football, and we couldn't make it to this, and you know, we'd have to go home early, and now they're love the robots. They love the new way. They really are understanding and taking
I
charge.
remember them on your startup
Yeah.
that day. They were so excited.
Oh, we just,
It
if
was
someone wants to
awesome.
come, they come along and they'll take people through the whole
Yeah.
thing. You know, before when we had the rotary and putting cups on, they couldn't do it.
Oh,
They
no.
were too small, and now they'd never do that.
Yeah.
Do you think they would be such? Do you think they'd be enjoying it so much if you were still milking in a rotary?
No.
And still milking in the
Okay.
air?
No, because I think we'd be all fighting, and
Yeah.
just I suppose our mental health goes down when you don't get enough sleep, and when you spend so much time doing something draining, I guess.
And just that starting
But it
the
was just
day
us.
already in a bad frame of mind because
Yeah.
you knew what you had unavoidable
Yeah,
in front of you.
that's right.
It was, like waking up in the morning. Who wants to see the sunrise? I mean, we have the best job in the world.
Yeah, it's amazing.
We get to see the sunrise every day.
Every day.
And I mean, we get some amazing sunrises. Like, they're absolutely glorious.
Mm.
But yeah, when you had 5 hours of milking ahead of you, it's like, who wants to see that?
Yeah, it's
I suppose you can enjoy the sunrise now, can't
Well, that's it.
we
yeah.
can.
Yeah, you're going for a cruisy walk to get the fetch cows in and watch the sun come up.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the close of podcast number 3 from the Dairy Experience. We hope you enjoyed your listening again. We are closing the podcast, but we'll record some unique video and recordings with Mandy and Sarah after this. If you want to receive the material, can you please fill out the registration on the Lely Australia website? The Dairy Experience Podcast Episode 3, Barns versus Grazing, is a wrap. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Jason.